take a look at this eHex chart. I mean, this thing's up about 40% right now. I'm loving it. You know what? pHex chart's up too. So like whatever side you stand on, that's great. But you know, there's like a real problem with onboarding in the pulse chain community. It doesn't really get any coverage. And that is the fact that we're on a new chain. I've personally experienced difficulty in onboarding people and trying to get them into Hex and explaining things. See, long time ago, I just used to be able to say, here's a contract address, you know how to use Uniswap, buy some. And you could just do this over the phone with people and it was done, easy. And now it's like you have to go to their place in the evening and sit with them and explain all this history. And maybe I'm just not a swift salesman. Maybe I suck at it and I'm over explaining things. But, you know, I'm getting a lot of questions from people. And so, you know, it's not easy to get people in. So part of me feels like, you know, if we're having trouble getting people to come to us, maybe we need to go to them. Something I don't ever talk about is, as far as I know, I'm the first person to actually bridge Hex off of Ethereum to other chains like L2s and side chains and stuff like that. And I don't really talk about it a lot because the truth is it's kind of like an attack vector. People can go back now and see who is the first person to ever pass this token across a bridge and find old addresses of mine. So that's why I don't really ever brag about it. But one thing I did notice when I did that all those years ago, it sold. Like I went onto other chains and I set up LPs and people were buying this stuff. I don't know who was buying it. Sometimes it was just small amounts. Sometimes all I bridged over was a few $100, you know, like 100,000 Hex kind of thing. And it sold and people bought it and it went up and down, and I'd like pair it on the other chains against USD usually, or ETH or whatever the native token was. And, you know, I still have LP floating out there on eHex on some of these chains. So I kind of feel like instead of standing here and wondering why isn't everybody showing up and why, you know, we got all this awesome tech, why aren't there users here? Maybe we just need to go to the people where they are. So if they're on Arbitrum, like if I wanted to call somebody and say, hey, buy some pHex on Arbitrum, I don't even know if there's any there. And even if there is some there, what's the contract address? So I propose, if you know contract addresses of, you know, pHex, pHex, Inc., Wrap Pulse, eHex, if you know addresses on other chains, if you brought some to Doge Chain and you bridged it there, I'd like some DMs. I'd like to verify this stuff. I want to take some initiative and make a list so that, like, if you're onboarding people, because like this one dude I met there, he really wanted to be part of the RH ecosystem, and you know, he just didn't like all the explaining RPC settings and all these things and your fork coins is just like too much to absorb. And then he just called me one day and he's like, well, I just bought a bunch of eHex, you know, because he looked up Hex on CoinMarketCap. That's what it showed him. He went to Uniswap. That's what he bought, you know. And I guess at the time I just thought, well, it's better than nothing. Obviously, looking back, I probably should have been like, dude, no, you messed up, because like apparently it's dead now, we're abandoning it as a community. Okay, fine, whatever, but you're still going to have a lot of people doing this. And you know, if we want to help them to not do that, we need to know, like, I don't know how to buy pHex on Ethereum. I know people have bridged it there. How do I buy it? What's the contract address? When I Google it, all I find is all kinds of junk and trash and stuff like that. Like, there's no comprehensive list anywhere. You know, like, if you want to help people buy good products, they need to know where to buy them. And maybe, like door-to-door salesmen, we should just show up wherever they are and say, here's the good products, come buy this, you know. But I don't know what this is without the contract addresses. So that's something that I'm going to be working on. We need to go out there and, like, you know, I need to be able to be like, here's how you buy ink on Gnosis XDAI chain, or, you know, or to somebody who went straight into optimism off of a credit card and never touched Ethereum, like, here's how you're going to buy pHex that's been bridged. You know, like, here's how you buy this crap on Polkadot. I don't know if there is a bridge to Polkadot, honestly, but if there is, you know, we need to show up there at people's doorsteps and say, here's some good products, here's why we like them, and if you bought, you know, a Cino and you got a little chunk now and now you're interested and you want some more, here's the best place to get him is right direct on Pulse Chain. Here's how you're going to do all that work. Because the truth is, you know, it's kind of like swimming, hey? You know, once you get your feet wet a little bit into water, you're jumping in, hey? You're going in, but the truth is, you know, you need to get people used to it a little bit. Get them in, get their toes wet, their feet wet, and then we'll go in for the deep dives and we're all going to have a blast and a lot of fun. But I mean, like, all this bickering ain't helping. And the eHex people have a valid point, and the valid point is it's the thing that everybody sees and somehow first makes their way into the ecosystem. So, you know, I'm not a fan of bringing a bunch of eHex liquidity on ETH and everywhere, but we do need some, and we should be able to defend that price chart a little bit, because unfortunately it's the first price chart everybody's going to see, and I don't see that changing anytime soon until people start saying eHex is a scam, please delist it or something. You know, like, how are you going to convince CoinMarketCap to remove eHex after we just spent, you know, 4 years arguing with them to list it? You're like, guys, come on. So, like, we got